It was just sounding like an echo. Hey, everybody, welcome back to Morning Talk with Mike and Paul. Hey, we're going to follow up on the Chicago thing because politicians are getting really stupid. Okay. There's one thing I didn't do. Now I did it.
Put the link back up.
Well, I needed to mute the other computer. But we're going to talk about Chicago again.
So the echo was on your end, was it?
It was. And it is getting stupid, quick, fast, and in a hurry. Okay. And I don't know what is wrong with this other computer. And I'm about to go get me a new computer.
Well, before Mike goes ballistic and throws that one through the window,
yeah,
I can tell you from the clips I've seen on YouTube and Facebook about this Chicago debacle. I physically wanted to board a plane last week just to fly over there and smack the shit out of some stupid people.
Yeah.
Anybody that gets in the way of a cop doing his duty is stupid. And I don't care if you're a Republican or a Democrat.
Now,
you get in the way, you deserve thrown on the ground, roll over, given a kick, put the handcuffs on, and thrown in a paddy wagon.
Yeah. Now, I did watch, because I worked with the German Polizei for many years when I worked over in Germany. And I've been watching these protesters. And if you watch the German Polizei, when they get into riot gear and riot mode, you freaking talk back to them. One lady spit on one, and another Polizei from the side hit her with a 36-inch baton and laid her out. Then the Polizei moved forward, and the cops behind them cuff them, stuff them, and put them in the paddy wagon. Okay, so it's kind of like whack-a-mole.
Or in my case, I better get over there because it's whack-a-mole season.
Yeah, and then, or some guy would try to act like a man and get in the Polizei's face, and then there's 3 or 4 Polizei just beating the crap out of him, pushing him to the rear. They'd do the same thing, and then people start running when the Polizei become violent. Okay, because they're not going to put up with your crap. Our cops are very restrained compared to police officers around the world. And I'm going to tell you something. You touch a cop, your hand should be broken right then. I'm sorry.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you now.
The only way people are going to respect a cop is you need, in situations like that, or what they're going through now, is, thank God they're putting restraints on cops for the rules of engagement, because if you were in Germany and you took parts of the curb and you were throwing it at police cars, they would beat you stupid.
Yeah.
Okay.
I can tell you right now, from personal experience, I was serving in the army in Germany. I was on a Saturday in civilians walking down a street to the army bar. I didn't know there was a riot going on, but I walked up and I tapped a copper on the shoulder. He turned around and pointed his pistol straight in my face.
Yeah.
And all I did was tap him on the shoulder. Yeah. Them German police do not mess about.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I have I reckon every police force should be the same.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. Hey, but I want to welcome everybody in. This is what we're going to talk about today. I'm going to give you a little bit of information what happened over the weekend. Again, remember this is adult conversation. If you can't handle it, you need to get out. But we respect everybody's view and opinion. And I'd like to thank everybody for coming in. So let's say hello to some people. I know Paul will correct me or guide me in the right direction when I screw up today.
Let me just clear something up.
Merns Pacquiao shared us out. So Merns was in here. There's Heartland Headquarters Dink and Tank. There's Jolynn. Hello. Terrie Roma SG, welcome in. Maria Garcia, Yin Sai, Miss Nays was here. Shane Raza, Snow Baby Bear, Jolynn, Crystal's Adventure, Anna G, Charmaine, Girly Santa. Let's see, Paul Honeyman from England's in here, of course. There's Rona, Gabriel, welcome in. Let's see, Leela and Layla, welcome. Glad to see you. Roadkill Ron, welcome in, brother. Hardneck Farms, there's Wendy, welcome in. Oh, he says, I lived in Chicago for 36 years. We don't put ketchup on our hot dogs. The politicians have more money to steal now that everybody is stoned. Hey, working with Wiley. Welcome in, Wiley.
Ignore him. He's a cheeky bastard.
Who, Wiley?
Yes.
I know if Wiley comes driving around, please mark your septic tanks because he will fall in them.
Yeah. And then he'll blame the bold people for the glare on their heads.
There's Barbara Castile. Welcome in. The Carver family. Hey, welcome in. Checking in.
We know that, Wendy.
Oh, wow. Y'all need to turn down the lights. Those shiny heads are too much.
That's exactly what I was saying about him.
There's Rebecca, Touched by Yarn. Paul, thanks for sharing your thoughts concerning these liberal human beings. Shiloh Acre.
Liberals should be able to think what they want. They should not be able to go into politics or power.
Yeah. Shirley Dale Cruz.
We all want a safer world, but just wishing it and wishing the stupid people with the guns and all that cause problems to go away is not going to work.
Yeah. Abby G. No, here's my problem with people in general. If you have 750,000 gang members in your city, okay? 750,000 gang members. Or even if you have 150,000 gang members. Don't sit there and talk about the total opposite of what's actually going on. Pick up the police report, look at it before you open your mouth and say, hey, what's going on? Now, if you say 500 murders, that ain't nothing. We have, in Chicago, there's 2.7 million people in Chicago. Okay. So 500 murders, that ain't nothing. One is too many.
Too bloody many.
If you're a politician, if you're a governor, if you're a mayor, if you're a police chief, one should be too many. And that's where you should be going to. Okay. I lived in Korea in a city of 4.5 million people. Okay. The metro area was over 6 million. All right. And when you have a city that large and your annual average murder rate is 500's a lot for half the people living in your town. Okay. The number in Korea was way too high. Okay. You can't move in Korea without being on a camera. There are cameras everywhere in Korea. So you could steal a purse and they could track you all the way through the city, okay, and know who you are. They do facial recognition. All right. If the computer says, hey, that's a new face, it logs it in. All right. And then they can follow you. They can see, whatever you're doing. They can get your plate number. They can find out who you are. Okay. You go into the airports now. We're doing it now too, facial recognition. Okay. To make sure you're not on the no-fly list. All right. But somehow they still get on there, right? But in Chicago, President Trump got on Truth Social, and we're going to talk about what he said. We're going to talk about what the governor, Pritzker, said. We're going to talk about what Johnson said, the mayor. But this is what happened over the weekend in Chicago. Okay. And these are just the main ones. This is not all the other garbage that goes on in these towns. 21-year-old man found shot dead on the west side of town. SWAT situation on Chicago's west side ends up in multiple arrests. 6 men charged after $170,000 theft at the Rolex store smash and grab in downtown Chicago. Gunman shot and injured 17-year-old boy on the south loop of Chicago. 16-year-old boy and woman shot on Chicago's south side, boy in critical condition. 3 stabbed, 2 critically hurt on west side fight. Chicago police shot and killed burglary subject and arrested 1. 17-year-old boy charged in Chicago armed carjacking. Chicago felon held suburban AT&T employees at gunpoint with attempted robbery. He got jacked up by the cops. Chicago woman charged with attempted murder in the South Shore shooting. There was a total of 8 killed and 50 wounded by gunshots in Chicago over the weekend. Just a normal weekend in Chicago, guys. Okay. Now, if you live in small town America, say, hey, let them kill each other, right? I don't live in there. All right. But President Trump, in his wisdom, is getting ready to send thousands of ICE agents and Homeland Security people, all those people, DEA, all them guys, out of South California, SoCal. He's going to move a bunch of those guys out of there, and they're going straight into Chicago, according to Truth Social and what they got from the president and his staff and stuff like that. So they're going to be cooling down Southern California, I guess, for whatever time frame, moving them up into Chicago, give them a change of scenery, but the same mission. Now, what he has also said was he's going to hold off on National Guard troops for the time being. Okay? For the time being. Now, if they get to a point where they're going, hey, you know what? We need some more help, then he may call them up. Now, I was watching videos of the protest, newscast of the protest in the north side of Chicago. All right. You notice these things, the west, the south, all that stuff where all this stuff is happening. So they protest in the north side because they know the south side's too dangerous to protest. Right. Yeah. And one thing I noticed about the crowds, and I'm watching it, I'm going, this is crazy. And I'm thinking, where's all the black people? They don't want no part of this shit. Okay? And if you've watched these town halls, the black community is in an uproar over that mayor and the crap he's pulling off. All right? They're saying we are tired of being last when it comes to supporting the black community in Chicago, yet we keep voting for you guys. They haven't had a Republican in there in I don't know how long. Okay? I thought I read something about 1927, something like that. But you keep voting for the same idiots. But now they're tired of it. Now, what they're saying in these town halls, we were sick and tired of being last on the list. Now we're behind the illegal aliens, so we're even farther back. They're remodeling schools that the black community says you need to upgrade these schools, and so we have a school so they're not overcrowded and stuff like that. But yet they updated the schools to make them sanctuary housing for illegal aliens. They're putting people in hotels. New York is paying what would they say, $5 million a month?
Yeah.
For one hotel. It's got 1,300 and something rooms in it, and they're paying $5 million a month to house illegal aliens. And then the news crew went through there, and they have turned that hotel into a shithole. When you give people something for free, they don't take care of it. Okay? Kids don't take care of stuff when you give it to them free. Now, if they bust their ass, some blood, sweat, and tears in order for them to earn some money and to buy it themselves, different story. But when you just give people stuff, they don't care. There are protests by illegal aliens because they want more. They think they deserve more. And these politicians in these cities are giving it to them. And the people who live there are sick of it. Yeah. So let's see what happens, right? Let's see what happens. And then there's so many misguided people. They said, hundreds protest. There was probably 150 people protesting. And everybody who has a cause was at these protests on the north side of Chicago. All right. Our LGBTQ plus community was there. All right. Maybe there's LGBTQ plus people that are illegal. I don't know. I was watching, the LGBT to free Palestine, and they have no freaking clue that if they're gay and they go into a Muslim country, dude, you are so misguided. It's pathetic. But these politicians, the facts are in their face, yet they say the total opposite. And that just makes me say these guys, they must be making some money. Okay? They must be making some serious cash off all this stuff, because your town is turning into a third world country, even with the gang population that's there. And you're saying everything is okay. So the governor goes and does a clip. See, it's a beautiful day in Chicago, and he's over in a park, okay, over by Lake Michigan, strolling down. People are jogging, and I don't know how much of it was staged, but he didn't walk down the south side of Chicago or these gang-ridden areas and say, hey, everything's fine. It was just a photo op. And that's what I'm getting sick of. All this lying and stuff like that. Chickens are crowing. Hey, Shiloh Acres. I think I said hello to you early. Lacey P's in here. James Hall.
Rebecca's in here.
Huh?
Rebecca's in here.
Yep, Rebecca. I said hello to her.
I didn't hear you.
Christy Betts is here.
Okay, that's twice I've had that flagged.
You what?
I've tried twice to send you a message. Well, to put it in here, it says I said the Palestinian protests with flags and all protests with another country's flag all need sprayed with dyed water to identify them for arrests later to stop the riots.
Yeah.
Twice it's been flagged by YouTube.
Oh, wow.
This comment has failed to post to MT Homestead, and there's a little YouTube PH behind it. Shall I put God Save Israel and see what happens then?
Yeah. There's Begum Elbeck. Welcome in. Camping Cage Freeze here.
James Hall.
James Hall, I said that. Ligio de la Cruz. Shirley de la Cruz, welcome in.
Oh, there's Jamie and Kevin.
Hey, the O'Rourke's are here. Welcome in. Anelli is here. She came in from Husky Edna. Husky Edna was live today. Charlene Grady, welcome in. But listen, they signed that big, beautiful bill. And part of that big, beautiful bill, Congress has allocated a crap load of money to fight this illegal immigration problem. And so the courts have reopened Alligator Alcatraz. The judge says, hey, you guys are, I guess, are doing great things, and you can continue.
Oh,
Louisiana is opening up a big mega illegal alien compound. They're doing one in Louisiana. I think Texas is starting theirs altogether. I think the one in Texas, someone said is going to have 5,000 beds in it. So you come in, they got judges, they got federal judges looking at each case, issuing extradition orders, and shipping them out of the country as fast as they can. And people are saying, oh, yeah, but some of these people are heading back they're shipping them straight back to their own country. Well, yeah, they're citizens of that country. And people say, well, they're not getting their due process. You lost that when you broke federal law coming across the border. Okay. And
Yes.
these people who are protesting, how can all these people not have jobs? You know what I mean? How can these people not have jobs unless they're getting paid for to protest by certain people within the rich and famous? Okay.
Yeah.
Because I ain't giving nobody money to protest. Okay. Terrie would whoop my butt. Okay. So yeah, this is going on. So here's what Trump is doing and what the local politicians are not doing in Chicago. President Trump on Saturday posted what appeared to be an AI created image of himself in front of the Chicago skyline with helicopters, flames, and the phrase CHIPOCALYPSE for Chi-Town. And that's why I put Chi-Town, Chi Apocalypse on the thumbnail. The president post appeared to threaten Chicago with troops, deportation, igniting pushback from Democrats leaders within Illinois. They didn't like this. Okay, namely the Democratic senators, the governor, and the mayor didn't like it. He says, I love the smell of deportation in the morning. Chicago's about to find out why it's called the Department of War. And you can read the president's post on Truth Social appearing to reference the 1979 film Apocalypse Now, which depicts America's war in Vietnam. Okay, except in the urban city. The post also appears to reference an executive order that Trump signed on Friday, rebranding the Defense Department as the Department of War and the Defense Secretary as the Secretary of War, which he's already done. Okay, so there you go. Let's see. We knew exactly where not to cross, and we could go to Chicago for seminar. Oh yeah. Oh, I bet there's certain places you just don't want to go in Chicago. Ray Castile says the company I worked for sent me to Chicago in the mid 80s. Could be a factory trained technician for the automatic door company I worked for couldn't work for a worse city. Worst city he's ever been to in his life. Yeah. Shiloh Aker says, I'll butcher the spelling. However, I'm pretty sure a majority of us have heard of Cabani Green, and it's everything we had seen on TVs and movies and more. Okay.
Wow, another one. Hello, Minty.
Who's that?
Minty Cactus.
All right, Minty Cactus is in.
I just put a thing up there. Anyone burning the country's flags needs to be arrested, and that got a flag.
Yeah, they're watching you, Paul. They're watching you.
I'm going to start swearing at them in a minute. See if that goes through.
Well, I mean, we could get a strike against us because these are things people don't want to talk about. I'm not saying nothing that's not in print, not on the news. And I look on ABC, CBS, NBC, MSNBC. I look at all that stuff. I make my own conclusion. These are my thoughts. Okay. and people are going to fight you on it, and they're not going to like what you're saying. But
And they don't like what you print.
The truth is the truth. Before we came on, Paul and I were looking at United Nations information on murders around the world. Homicides or murders classified by law enforcement as bona fide murders or homicides. And we found out that in Brazil, I don't ever want to go to Brazil. All right. They average 40,000 murders a year. Okay. 40,000 murders a year. The United States in 2023 was something like 19,600 and something murders classified as homicides. We're not talking about, they ruled out suicides. They ruled out, whatever. But it was actually the police there had classified it. And then we found out that around the world, the average murder rate around the world is 420,000 people. Okay. You had 420,000 people murdered, classified as murdered. And then along with that, everybody who has heart attacks and, crashes their car and kills them or kills somebody else and yada, yada, yada. It is like, when you go out there and you've got too many chickens, I'm going to say it this way, too many chickens, and you say, oh, that one's got a limpy leg, or that one's looking bad. You cull those out to strengthen your flock. Okay. We're doing it all by ourselves. Okay. The world culls itself because people get old, they die, people have heart attacks, yada, yada, yada. There's car crashes. They drink too much. They kill themselves. They kill somebody else. But on top of all that, we throw in another 420,000 every year. Okay. Some people don't even live in a county of 420,000. It's like wiping out your whole county or more every single year. Okay. And we do it to ourselves. All right. When we were reading about Chicago, all the gangs that are in there, all the crimes that they can commit, how much drugs they're pushing into their city. And Chicago's no lone stranger. They got all that. They got everything there. And your politicians are saying everything's fine. All right. It's like the Wizard of Oz. Pay no attention behind the man behind the curtain. Okay. Don't look over here. Don't look over here. The rest of Chicago's okay. But now you can't even go downtown because these people are doing, smash and grabs. Rolex store, $170,000 stolen out of there. You think Rolex is going to stay there much longer? Why is Walmart? I seen a thing on 60 Minutes because I was watching the Hodge brothers, the Hodge twins, and I was going, really? Walmart's pulling out of Chicago? Well, they're pulling out a part of Chicago because they can't afford it no more. Because people are coming in, getting a shopping cart, throwing all the food that they want in there, and heading to the door. And if they stop them, a group of other kids are waiting, and they just beat the crap out of the security people. Well, it's not worth the guy checking your cart, some old elderly gentleman, to check your receipt, to get his head smashed in by a bunch of thugs. Okay, so Walmart says enough is enough. All right, look at downtown San Francisco. How many stores pulled out of there? All right, how many mom and pop stores can't reopen because they're going to have protests in Chicago like they do out in California, which is just a green light for people to come in and burn things down, steal, rob, hurt other people because it's opportunity. Okay, you guys are watching the protests. Now we're going to do this. All right, we need new Jordans. Let's go hit the Foot Locker. Let's hit this. Let's hit that. Whatever. And it's just freaking wrong. And these politicians don't acknowledge that. All right, that's what should piss people off that are voting in Chicago. Okay, I don't live in Chicago. Don't even want to. I try to avoid cities. Okay, now can't avoid Atlanta. Everything in the Midwest goes to Atlanta. All right, so you drive down to Dallas and you fly out of there so you can get a direct flight. Okay, so you don't have to go to these cities. I don't want nothing to do with it. Now, we used to fly into Minneapolis, St. Paul, okay, when we'd fly in from Korea. Only reason we did that, it was the easiest immigration system out of all of them that we found. You just get your passport out, you go to a little stand, there's like 20, 30, 40, 50 of them, and you just put your passport in there, you look at it like that. If it says you're good, you pull it out, go in there, get it stamped, and you're gone. Dallas, Fort Worth, if you fly international, and all those planes that are coming in from South America, from Europe, or wherever, man, I stood in line for 3.5 hours. That was horrible. Internationally, I'll never fly through Dallas again. That's crazy talk. All right, let me see. Everybody's saying hello to everybody. Ed Kirkpatrick, he's listening. The storyteller's here. Good to see you, brother. Everybody's saying hello to Wiley. Wiley. Wiley is good, folks. You dang right he is, Wendy. All I can say is I'm happy Detroit no longer holds the record for the murder capital anymore. I did read something about somebody's buying up a bunch of properties in the city of Detroit, but not doing anything with it. Can't remember who they said was buying up a bunch of land, old houses and stuff like that. Hopefully, maybe they're waiting. It might turn around one decade and it'll be worth something. But they're buying the land and all that stuff cheap.
Yeah, it sounds like another Oprah land grab.
Yeah. Razzle from Team Jolly Huggers is here. Welcome in. And hello to you. Shirley Admin, welcome in. Now, guys, you guys can click that link and come up here. And I'm all for you telling me your side of everything.
Don't believe it, people. I hadn't been able to get 2 words in.
Well, I mean, I got a lot to cover, and you can talk over me, and I'll stop talking. See, Paul's just trying to get the sympathy vote.
Paul doesn't need a sympathy vote.
Whistle stop. There's Ed. Welcome in.
Paul's his own sympathy.
Okay. Yeah, people. Yeah, exactly. People are living in cars and living. What Ron said, they are living at the police station. Cops can't ID them or anything other than step over them on their way out to work. Yeah, I'm pretty sure that one was somebody else's comment. And good morning to you. Jamie says, screw them. I mean, there's a lot of good people that live in Chicago. Okay. And they go to work and they're probably there because the job's there and stuff like that. Because there's a lot of corporate headquarters in Chicago. And all I'm saying is that, and here's the thing, there was a thing I read about Illinois is becoming, people are doing a mad exodus out of Illinois like they did California and New York. Okay, they're heading to states where you don't see this stuff as much. It's not as prevalent. You can move to Texas, and if you don't think there's crime going on in Texas, you're sadly wrong. You can move to Oklahoma, and if you think there's no crime in Oklahoma City or Tulsa, you'd be sadly wrong. Okay. In fact, I will tell you that the mayor of Tulsa made a statement that something to the nature of traffic stop tickets and stuff like that for Native Americans, for the tribes that live in that area, will not be taken into court. So do you know what the Highway Patrol did? They moved all their patrolmen out of the Tulsa area, relocated them in other places to conduct law enforcement operations. All right. I don't know how many they moved out of there, but they're saying, hey, if you're not going to have any kind of support system, I mean, the mayor, I think he because it's crazy. If you're in Oklahoma and you try to turn Tulsa into a sanctuary city, you are not going to last, because if you're the mayor, I'm sure that within that county, Tulsa is blue. Okay. I'm pretty sure it's probably blue. Okay.
Yeah, and the mayor's got big pockets.
But same thing with Oklahoma City. The inner city may be blue, but the county is red. Okay. So yeah, you could probably run for mayor and you could probably win as a Democrat. But what are you doing for your people? All right. Yeah. That's because they give it stuff. Yeah, they're not taking care of stuff. That was my comment earlier. So make sure we didn't get anybody new.
We've had a few. The latest one is Palmetto Paratrooper.
Hey, Palmetto Paratrooper and Kentucky Bluegrass Living. Welcome in. Kentucky Bluegrass Living says, my brother moved out of Illinois. He was paying $8,500 a year in property tax on a modest home. He moved to Indiana. Yeah. And on that one article I read, it was because of taxes. the cost of living, schools, and there was well, crime. That's why those are the big four. Why they're moving out of Illinois, and they're moving to Florida, and they're moving to Texas, they're moving to Indiana, on and on and on. Now, for a city like Chicago, where there are no gun stores authorized to be in Chicago, there sure is a lot of guns. Okay? There sure are a lot of guns. Yeah, there's a lot of guns, and now the number one item around the world that people use to murder people, number one was firearms, specifically handguns is the number one. Okay. And then right after handguns was knives. Right after that was blunt objects. In a list, it said hammers, clubs, and then after that was hands, feet, were in order of people being murdered around the world. And it depends on your the way your laws are. I know in England, you said in the 60s, you guys lost your right to own firearms.
Yeah. Landowners and farmers. And when I say landowners, I don't just mean somebody that has bought some land and put a house on it. They still can't. But landowners, as in gentry,
Yeah.
they are still permitted to have their shotguns.
Yeah. But it's shotguns.
Yes.
I know
shotguns, and I believe some farmers are also allowed to have 2.2, and I think it's just a 2.2 now for killing rodents.
Yeah. I know in Germany, you can own a firearm, a shotgun, or a hunting rifle, but you have to belong to a hunting club, and it has to be stored there and recorded when you're going out to do hunting and organized hunting and stuff like that in Germany. Other than that, you can't have a gun. Except for the military.
Yeah. Kentucky bluegrass. Sheep dips a pit where they take their sheep through and they wash them to get all the termites and the bugs off them. It's literally it's like a bleach pit. Do I eat what on crackers?
Eliseo Blind Maid Production says, Mike, hope you're having a blessed day. Did you know that a sub sandwich is now considered a deadly weapon? According to the officials in D.C., after the incident of the guy throwing a sub sandwich. Didn't know that. I did not know that. But here's what I do know, Paul. Okay?
Uh-huh.
In a statement, from Mayor Bowser, who is the mayor of D.C., she was totally against all this stuff Trump did in D.C. Totally against it. But here's what she said after the fact. Okay, and they got her on a recording. We know that we have had see, I know that we've had fewer gun crimes, fewer homicides, and we have experienced an extreme reduction in carjackings, Mayor Bowser told reporters about Trump's actions late last month. What we do know is what we know is not working is break in trust between police and the community, especially with new federal partners in our community. We know having masked ICE agents in the community has not worked, and National Guard from other states have not been efficient use of those resources. She's still against the use of National Guard troops. Okay. Yes, National Guard troops belong to the governor until they're federalized. Then they become federal troops. And oh, by the way, once they're federalized, then they get all the benefits that active duty military get, to include their families get it also. Okay. But she's still not a fan of it. Okay. Still not a fan of it. But she's saying what happened actually reduced crime in DC. She finally admitted it. Okay. Finally admitted it.
You mean the blinkers are slowly lifting?
Now, I'm a big guy. And I was afeared to ride the metro. Okay. I seen some stuff in some of these metro stations, man. All I want to do is get the heck out of there. Okay. I was there for, I don't know how many times I've been to DC for 2-week training courses, yada, yada, yada. And one time I wanted to go watch a baseball game. The Texas Rangers was playing in DC, wanted to go watch them play. Got on there, man, some scary stuff in the downtown metro center. Some crazies on there. People on the train, crazy. All right. People walk up and down their security, blah, blah, blah. Man, they don't even mess with those crazy people. Right? They're afraid of them. And who knows what could happen on there. There's some actual really crazy people on the subways. Let's see.
I could understand you if you said, I'm a big guy, and your nickname was Tiny.
Yeah.
Because that's what we used to do in the army.
Yeah.
The bigger they are, the smaller the name.
Yeah. Well, I didn't get that name in the army.
No, you already had it before you went in.
They did.
If somebody is called Big Mike,
they just called me Sergeant E. That's it.
Called you what?
Sergeant E. Sergeant E. Or, in the military, they call you by your last name. Half the people, or majority of the people I knew in the military, I couldn't tell you what their first names were. Hey, Rodriguez, hey, Johnson, hey, Smith. We call everybody by their last name because it's on your uniform, and that's what you call them starting in basic training. Okay? That's what you call them.
Yep.
One guy came up to me, he goes, "Your name's Mike?" He goes, "I never knew that." And I've known him for 15 years. But that's what they do. They just call me Sergeant E. And then, of course, First Sergeant E. Let's see. Trying to some of the things I don't bring up is because it's part of another conversation. Oh, Christy Betts says, I don't know if I've got a mentally ill neighbor uh, who refuses to take her meds and has been a big problem here. And she has a lot of guns, which is scary. Well, I'm going to tell you something. Check your state red flag laws. Okay. You knowing that and not saying something, better check your laws because under the red law, you have a duty to report that. And if something happens and they can say, hey, your neighbor here knew that and they didn't say nothing. So just check your red laws for your state. Yeah, Shiloh Acre says, I wasn't very comfortable on the subways in Chicago. We took a cab. Most times, however, it was just as scary. I know when we were in Korea, Brittany was terrified of the Korean cabbies. Dude, they don't look. She was like white knuckling it, from the train station to our house. She goes, these guys are nuts.
That's why my daughter never had to get a taxi.
Yeah.
That was the only tattoo I was seriously considering getting. Dad's taxi.
Yeah, there you go. Hey, Rainy Ridge. Welcome in. Hey, Paul, why do chickens wear pants in England?
They don't.
Well, we haven't got an answer yet.
I know. And that was Kentucky Bluegrass. He comes on to buzz my chops.
Oh. He said, what is sheep dip in England?
I told him what it was. And then he asks if I eat it on Ritz. So why do I want a saggy Ritz?
I thought sheep dip was some kind of antibacterial.
It is.
Okay.
It's where the flock of sheep go under the dip, and it's got antibacterial and what's the other word? Oh, they use bleach for it to kill all the mites.
But do you eat it on crackers?
Can you see it?
I can hear it too. Assault with a sandwich.
Hey, Darian's just come in.
That's because he said Roadkill Wrong says because it has mustard on it, burns the eyes. Oh, come on, Wiley. You ain't got to go to work. You're self-employed. You're the boss. Oh, wait.
He ain't the boss.
No, he ain't the boss.
It's the same as you ain't no boss.
It felt wrong as soon as it left my lips.
Uh-huh.
Yeah, because I ain't the boss. There's no freaking way. In fact, my wife picks out my pants. Oh, man. Yeah, I've been to Birmingham, Alabama, and there's some places I will not go in Birmingham. I was a drill sergeant at Fort McClellan, Alabama, and there are some places I will not go. Okay. There's no way. There's places in Montgomery, there's places in Mobile, will not go into those places. Why do Brit men wear wool underwear, Paul?
They haven't since the 1950s. And that was only when they were getting shipped over to cold areas.
Hell, the Duluth clothing company, they don't even make them anymore. I'd hate to wear a pair of wool ones, be itchy. Yeah, see,
It depends what you use to wash them.
Even in Denver, can't.
Wool only gets itchy in the heat. And I know that because the British Army still use wool shirts.
Well, in the military, you're issued a wool blanket.
Yes.
And have you ever slept with a wool man? It bothers the crap out of me. I mean, my skin, I just itch all over the place with those old Army green blankets.
Oh, I was white with a blue stripe down the center. But I tell you what, if you went to sleep naked underneath one of them, you got up the following morning and you were red from top to bottom.
Yeah. In fact, I think the Navy, they used to make a Navy coat. It was called a pea coat. Was made out of wool. Warm, but I don't know. I'd have to wear long sleeves with it.
Well, I was lucky enough the fact I grew up with the Army, because when I went in, the first thing I did was shave the inside of my coat and inside of my shirts.
Now, there is a Jacksonville, Alabama, right outside of Fort McClellan, Alabama. That's where Jacksonville State is. Deion Sanders used to coach that team. I don't know if that's the same Jacksonville, Alabama that you're talking about, bluegrass. There's a place called Jefferson's there, and I think they had 50 different beers around the world, but the best buffalo wings I've ever eaten was there. I'd go there every Friday and have buffalo wings. But just want to finish up on talking about this. This Senator Durbin, he's a senator, and Tammy Duckworth also spoke out against Trump's potential plans after touring the naval station on Friday, because they think that's where the staging point is. When they capture people, they're going to take them to the naval station there, Great Lakes, right there in Chicago. I think this is a terrible act of political theater, both of them are saying together, that is underway at the expense of a lot of people, at the expense of taxpayers. Oh, wait a minute. So the billions and billions of dollars that these sanctuary cities are spending on illegal immigration isn't a waste of taxpayer dollars? Huh. So trying to correct what the last president did, well, maybe Joe didn't know. Somebody else was pulling strings. If they say his cognitive ability was at a certain point, who was pulling the strings? But nothing was done about it. and millions of people from around the world crossed over, was released into the interior of the United States, and they thought that was a good idea and nothing would happen. People wouldn't be dead, women wouldn't be raped, children wouldn't be murdered. Look at all these guys that they've got rap sheets on. If I was to go out and commit a crime like these people did against a juvenile, a sexual crime, I would be in jail. But when they're reading the rap sheets on some of these guys they're picking up and the things that they have done to children, and they were released from the courts out into the public again, holy smokes. We have something worse going on, in my humble opinion, than mayors and police chiefs, okay, and sheriffs that are turning a blind eye to the problem.
I do not blame the sheriff.
Our courts are releasing.
That's who I blame.
Okay? Our courts are releasing them. Mayors are telling their police chief, their police commissioners, a certain story, and they're releasing people. Not calling ICE when you've got a child rapist in your jail. Now, sheriffs are elected, and most county jails are ran by the sheriff's department, or all of them. Now, you have city jails, okay? Are they being released out of city jails? But if you're an elected official and you're a sheriff and you go, wait a minute, if I don't call ICE, I'm breaking federal law. Because if they put a detainer on them and you don't do it, why aren't they being arrested? Okay? Why aren't they being arrested and charged under federal law?
They should all be given trackers. And I don't mean the sort that goes around their ankles. I mean the sort they actually inject into them.
Well, I think what was that movie where they put the rings around their neck and if you tied the jimmy it blew up?
I'm all for that.
Yeah.
Put them collars on all those they send into Alligator Alcatraz. And then give them a toolkit and see who tries to take them off.
Hey, Jamie. Welcome in. Tattoo hair on that noggin.
I'm quite happy with my bald head.
Hey,
that's why I shave it 4 times a week.
How you doing, brother? Good to see you.
That's only 20 minutes.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah, I told you 20 minutes ago.
Selective hearing, Paul.
Yeah, I know. And I'm not your pissing wife either.
He's going to call his liverwurst sheep dip. You know, I can't eat liver, a cooked liver. I can't eat it. I throw up. If Terry cooked it, I would get sick. We were at a restaurant and she goes, man, they got liver and onions here. I said, go ahead and eat it. Sit on the other side of the table. But I smelt it and I got sick and I went into the bathroom and threw up. I can't do it. I was forced to eat that stuff as a child by my grandmother and got sick. Oh, I can't. That and gin. My first bad episode with alcohol involved gin. There's Rice Lewis. I'm just making sure I'm double checking, Paul. I don't know what a smoke is, a cigarette or a cigar.
Yeah, people were asking me questions.
Pancake is a breakfast flapjack. Well, we call them flapjacks in the States too.
Yeah, you call them flapjacks. We call them pancakes.
Now, they may not be called flapjacks in New York, but in Arizona, we call them flapjacks. Yeah, McClellan does. That cleanup problem is bad. I was contacted by the VA because they found out I was stationed there for several years. See, Tamara said she's pretty good. Hey, 70 something million people signed up for this.
Yeah, as I said to somebody before, as I was said to Jamie, it's a pity that Trump can't be elected because he didn't have 2 consecutive terms.
Yeah. But no, I think it just says 2 terms. You can serve two terms as president.
But his were interrupted by a fix.
Yeah.
And that's what's caused all the problems you're in now. And what them bloody Democrats didn't just affect the Americans. It
Trivia.
affected the world.
Chicago's called the Windy City because of all the hot air that comes out of politicians' mouth.
No. It doesn't come out the mouths. They just speak out their asses.
They're osh.
Their asses. I like pancakes with syrup with treacle.
Hey, well, look at that. Yeah. Now, I used to live in Rockford.
Wow. That far back, Tamra. Since she was a child. That's a long time ago.
Yeah, and here's what I found funny. When Mayor Johnson in Chicago said that slaves built Chicago. I'm sorry. There were no slaves in Chicago when Chicago was built.
No, okay. I don't eat blood pudding.
Now, I will tell you that immigrants built Chicago. I'll tell you that. Okay. So I was listening to his speech and I'm going, this guy went to college and still his speech writer put this in the speech. Okay. Put this in the speech. And then I had to look it up. Okay. There were no slaves in Chicago when Chicago was built. Okay.
Sorry, there were.
And
they just weren't black.
Well, whatever. But, you know, now, when you say something like that, you go, oh, whoa, there were slave owners in Chicago?
Yeah.
I go, what? There was no slave owners in Chicago? And if African American, Black Americans helped build Chicago, it wasn't in the capacity of servitude or being a slave. It was built by free men and women. Okay. Oh, by the way, don't forget about all the women who went to work when World War I and World War II was going on.
You mean when the women were allowed to work?
Okay. Don't forget that.
No.
Okay. Wild Wild West.
Yeah, that was funny as hell, that one.
Okay. She's always called. All right. Yeah, I can't do that. I've got to have syrup on my stuff. I got to have it. I got to have it slathered in syrup.
The only time you better put
But I
butter
only
on
do that sugar-free syrup. So
is when they're that big.
yeah. Now my favorite pancakes or waffles is pecan pancakes or waffles. Peanut butter. Oh, yeah. Terry's made peanut butter for the grandkids. I like them when they came over. My
Waffles, yes.
my
Pancakes,
grandsons, he loves peanut butter. And so she makes pancakes with peanut butter in it.
And I do not eat blood pudding.
Oh, you don't?
No. We've got white pudding, blood pudding, and black pudding. And they're all the same. The last time I had black pudding, I ended up in the hospital.
Yeah. Yeah, we can't do that because of the Constitution, more than 2 terms. Yeah.
I know, I'm just venting my thoughts. It's not 2 consecutive terms, and he needed that to put everything back right. Jamie likes the pecan so he can throw the shells.
Oh, wow. 1770.
That's funny. There was a little kerfuffle around 1770s, wasn't it?
The what?
There was a little kerfuffle in the 1770s.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, really? I've had that. I've had applesauce with pancakes. I do like it. Applesauce in your pancakes. So, hey, Terry's awake. Yay!
Hi, beautiful.
Almost 10 o'clock. She was tired, girl. Oh, you took a shower? Anyway, so I just had to say that. So, guys, stay tuned. Watch the news. Make some popcorn because there's going to be a lot of YouTube videos. If you think there's probably a lot of YouTube videos coming out of Southern California or in California in general with these chase downs, these car chases, and all this, man, there's not a whole lot of wide open spaces in Chicago. Okay. So it's going to get ugly quick, fast, and in a hurry. We pray it doesn't, but it will. And I'm going to tell you something. And I did hear that New Orleans and Baltimore is now on Trump's hit list. for doing the same thing. Okay.
Good.
So
I hope he does as much as he can before he gets to hand over.
yeah. Anyway, guys, I just wanted to talk about this again. It's going to get crazy. And like I said, when I was watching videos of protest, man, all of a sudden it hit me, and I'm just scanning all the groups and said, man, where's all the black folks? They're staying the hell out of this one. Okay. They want the illegal immigration to stop. They want them gone. And I don't blame them. I don't blame them.
All that
But
money they could have used on the blacks.
like several people at the Chicago town halls have told the mayor of Chicago, your days are numbered. You will not get reelected. Okay. And these were from community people, leaders within their own community. They're not politicians. They are leaders within their community. And they're sick and tired of being sick and tired. And I do not blame them. All right. If you spent the money on illegal immigration in your city, all right, for that, and not your citizens, man, I would be pissed. And rightfully so, they should be pissed. Okay. So, hey guys, I want to thank everybody for coming in. Look at that. We didn't even hit 10 o'clock. All right. But guys, I hope you guys have a very blessed week. If you're working, if you're one of those guys who work, man, make it your best. If you're retired like me, enjoy the time off. But it just seems like there's more. I didn't realize there's so much to do on a homestead when you're not working.
And you've got no excuse to do it.
And I left it all for Terrie to do every day.
Yeah.
So, anyway.
Have you noticed how that honeydew list has got a lot longer?
No, not really. It's just.
In other words, you haven't been reading it.
Well, that too. I'm a selective reader and listener. Terrie will tell you. Hey, but don't forget, tomorrow night is Sergeant's Talk TV. Jason from White Rock and myself will be on, and we are going to talk about veteran suicide. Suicide Prevention Day and month is the month of September. World Suicide Prevention Day is the 10th, which is Wednesday. And then on Wednesday, Terrie and I will be live for Empty Homestead Live. Hope you check us out at at the Homestead.
That's the only time Mike has a good-looking co-host.
Yeah, that is true. Yeah. And Monday and Fridays, we have Morning Talk with Mike. Never know what we're going to talk about. And I think that, I don't even know what the subject's going to be on Friday. We may just have an open mic and people come on up and let's just talk about, I'd like to talk about your channel. Okay. Tell me about your channel. Let everybody know about your channel. What's going on in your hometown? What is pissing you off about your town, your state, the country? I take it all. And remember,
don't tell that to anyone.
This is adult conversation. And I appreciate everybody that comes in here. I appreciate those guys who are at work and they're listening to us. Okay.
I don't believe you just said that on live YouTube. This is adult conversation and I take it all.
Paul, you're an adult.
Yeah, I am. And I ain't bending over to take nothing.
Anyway, guys, hey, remember, be kind to one another, help somebody in need, and always, always think of that. Now, we'll find out later if we get demonetized or not. I have no idea. But Terrie will lecture me on if we get a strike or not. But I didn't say nothing that wasn't stated in the news, and I mean on both sides: ABC, NBC, MSNBC, Fox, AP, the Washington Compost, or the New York Compost. Hey, I'm getting all that news. All right, so something has to be true somewhere. All right, because if people are talking, there's got to be a little truth to everything, guys. Hey, we love you. God bless you. We'll see you on the next one. Bye, guys.
Stay
Hey,
safe,
don't
everyone. Have a
forget,
good week.
we just posted a video. So go over there and check our last video out. And I think you'll like it. All right, guys. Love you. See you next time. Bye.
And hot mic.